All right, we're back. Let's see what we've got here. We have a tile class, which doesn't have a lot. Has a color, a row column location, which I actually haven't used the row column location yet. I don't really know how much I used it, but I want to use it. So let's see if we can figure out a way to incorporate that. We have a board class, which basically just has one static field, which is a two-dimensional array of tiles, the board. We have a function which makes the board, a function which draws the board. And we kind of have this little extra thing in here just showing you how you could actually fill one of those spots in the board, which will actually become sort of the basis of how we're going to draw a snake, how we're going to draw the fruit, and all that kind of stuff. And that's what we'll hopefully work on today. And in the game, I'm making the board one time, right? One time in the main method, then making a game object and saying game object dot start, and I'm drawing the board, and that's really all we've got. And when I run it, it looks like this. And that little board 1015 is kind of how we're, or whatever 10.5 is how we're filling that thing. So now we want to make a snake. So I'm going to make a class. Well, first of all, let me go to board and just take this out because this is just sort of for fun, right? And let us go here and say, wait, that's a different thing. Snake develop. So let's make this snake. And snakes want to have a tile array. I'm going to call it the body. Now maybe we'll figure out a way to make multiple snakes in our game later, but right now let's just start out by making one snake. So let's think about this. How are we going to sort of populate that array? Oh, I made that an array. Where really, I probably want to make that an array list. All right, what do you think? Didn't like it, got to import it. All right. Okay. So, let us make the snake size 5. And I'm just going to say body. Oh, not right for that. To say. All right, so you have to initialize the array list, okay? And then I'm going to add 5 tiles to the array list. I'm not really using the row column thing. So I need an X and Y location. But let's just, I don't know, we'll try to keep this in the back of our mind. If I say 20 or 400, that might be the 21st row. And then if I say, oh, I'm sorry, close to the middle. Right, that should be close to the middle since my screen is 1200 and 800, right? It only takes two parameters, right? Which is x and y. And I'm just going to add maybe 20 to the x each time, right? So then it's going to move it over a little bit. And I think I've got a body now. But I need to see the body. So let's say public void draw snake. Or we can just call it draw, to be honest. And then say graphics 2D. Say, ooh. The body. How about that? How about them apples? How do you like that? Now, I think one little issue is the way I was drawing the tile. Because when I was drawing the tile, I was only drawing like sort of the border of it, and now I wanted to fill the tile. So maybe I actually need to do this pb.fill the tile object. And the question is to be, what is the color of the paintbrush? So I could set the color once, or I could set it each time. But that kind of like begs the question of what color is our snake? And I do have a color in here. Maybe I want to add the ability to set the color. Maybe a couple ways I could do that. I could maybe create another constructor and say that the color is going to be equal to whatever color you give me. Okay. And then that way, so I create a different constructor which takes 3 arguments, right? One which is a color. So when I come over here, I not only need to give it an XY, but also a color attribute, and maybe I'll give it color dot blue. Okay, so now it's got a color. So now each one of these tiles of my body has a color. So now I could say pb.setColor, and so I'm going to set it to the color of the tile in the body. And I just referenced a method here, getColor, which I don't have, but I kind of understand the idea that, I have this private attribute, and I'd like to be able to get it. So how do you get those getters and setters? Alt-Shift-S. Alt-Shift-S. Generate getters and setters. Maybe I want to do it for everything, but right now I'm just going to say color, and let's generate a getColor and a setColor method. How about that? Oh. What am I calling it? COL. That didn't raise any. Oh, column. That's column. I wanted to get color. Okay. All right. So let's check this out. So, I feel pretty good about the fact that I have the ability to create a snake now. that it's going to have 5 tiles as its body, and then I have the ability to call a draw method. So let's try to do that. Let's go to the main method here. Let's create a snake object. We'll call it snake. And we'll make it equal a new snake. I don't think it takes any arguments. I mean, I could have it take the color argument, so then I decide that at that moment. And then I'm going to go snake.draw win, right? And let's run this and see what that looks like. Yay. The method set color is not applicable. Did I not do that right? Oh, I might be confusing because I created the same method here, but this dot color from int to color. Oh, int because it was setting column before. Int, yeah, it's not int, it's color. Okay. How about that? How about them apples? All right. Aha! There it is. We have a sync. I kind of want to know the row column location, though. I feel like. Why do I want to know the row column location? Maybe I don't need to know right now, but I kind of feel like I do. So what I'm going to do, just try to figure out where I set the head of this thing, is I'm going to guess I set it sort of in the middle-ish, right? 20, 30. Maybe I did. Okay. All right, let's try this. I can see it. You probably can't see it, but I can see it right there. And the difference is, I'm drawing that first, and then drawing the snake. So actually, to just really be 100% sure, if I switch these two things and drew the snake first and the board second, I should be able to see that one tile. Aha, and I do see that is where the head is. Okay, so I just kind of want to know where my tiles were to start with, what row column location they had. So it's 2030 is the first one. And then the question is, does anybody care? What if I modify this constructor here to take an int row, an int column argument, and now I'm just trying to like have each tile sort of keep track of certain data or information, okay? And so I'm going to say this dot row equals row, and this dot column equals column. And I think we said it was 20 and 30, right? So when we come back here, I'm going to say int row equals 20, int column equals 30, and I'm going to pass in these values here, row, column, okay? All right, and then now each time do I want to change the row for each new tile I create, or do I want to change the column? I want to change the column, right? Because they're in the same row, they're just sort of side by side. All right, fun. Okay, so I'm just, again, it's not going to change anything, but it's going to, now each one of these tiles knows its row column location, which I think could be helpful and interesting later. Blah, 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 blah. Where's board? Okay, let's take this stuff out for right now. We don't need any of this. Okay, so what do you think? What do you think would be our next thought, right? And I think you'd probably like to see that snake move. Okay, so what I did is I went to the tile class and created a move method for the tile class, so tiles can move, right? And tiles are going to move based on their direction, right? The direction that they have, but we don't have a direction attribute. So let's create that. Private int direction. And I kind of want to base this on GDB5 and the collision direction, although I don't think you have to, but I was just kind of thinking, let's just try to be consistent. Well, 0 is right, 2 is left, 1 is up, 3 is down. But that's actually an extra bit. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Tile. So let's say if direction equals 0, we're going to move right. Now, how much are we going to move? We could put 20 in there. That would be reasonable. Or I guess you could put the width of the rectangle. How about that? Blah, blah, blah. And this is going right. Let's just try to remember that. And how about if it's 2, we say we're going left, which would mean we'd want to subtract this. If it's 1, we'll say, it doesn't really matter, but we'll say we're going up, which would be 1. It wouldn't actually be plus, because you get less as you go up, right? And this dot y is going to be down. What do you think? How do you like that? How do you like them apples? Okay. Now, we haven't set the direction of our tiles to be anything. I don't know. Let's try this. Let's say this dot direction equals what's going to the left. 2. All right. So now I'm basically saying when I create those tiles that I'm putting in the body array, right, of the snake object, that I'm giving all those tiles a direction of 2. Okay. So that when I call the move method, you're going to see or hopefully we see the snake move to the left. How do you like that? Snake on move? Oh, no. No, you silly monkey. That was a tile method, right? So let's create a snake method called move. And basically we're going to just iterate through the body, right? There's a bunch of tile objects, right? And we're basically going to say t.move. How about that? Okay. All right, now we should be able to say snake.move. Okay. Boom, ready, set, go, and it moved. Okay. You didn't see it, but it moved. It just flew off the screen. Okay. So I don't know. When I play snake, it usually has this kind of like boom, 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 boom kind of movement. And so basically, we're not want to move constantly. We're kind of wanting to move every so often, you know. And that's when I think this maybe counting variable could be fun for us to use. Right. And this updates every 60 frames, so I could say every 60 frames, like, you know, count plus plus kind of thing. And then I could say if count mod 20 or 30 maybe. Snake on move. What do you think? What do you think that's going to do? So it's creating a movement of like 3 times per second. It's pretty good. It's pretty good speed. I think I'd like to maybe slow it down right now and slow it down. Just, you know, when we play the game and stuff, it's easier to control. Blah blah blah. So that's pretty good. You know, I think what we accomplished today is we figured out how to make a snake, right? We created a snake class. The snake class really just has one field, you know, one attribute, which is this array list of tiles that we're going to call the body. And then when we create a snake, we will you know, put 5 of those tiles into the body. We're going to put them in the center of the screen. We know the row column location of those tiles, and we're going to set those fields to store those appropriate values. And I think this is going to be a beneficial thing later, or we can use it in a positive way later. And we wrote a move method, which really calls on the tile move method, which basically looks at the direction and then makes a decision based on the direction. And we added a field to store the direction. So now I suppose if you're like better at this, you know, and you really have more experience, you understand what you're doing, you're going to, you know, have a better blueprint of, you know, the classes and all the, you know, fields you want to have. And so you would know, okay, I want row, color, a row, column, color, direction. You would know all that stuff ahead of time, and you would have declared all that stuff ahead of time. I suppose I did know I wanted that stuff, but I think it's all also like kind of this iterative development where as you do more and more work and as you go further into the project, I mean, at least for me, I find that I realize like, oh yeah, I'd like to be able to do this, you know, or I'd like to be able to do that, and it'd be good to know, you know, it'd be good if this object knew, you know, a certain piece of information that I could use then to make a decision on, right? Well, let me add a field, you know, so it can store that information. So that's kind of what ends up happening for me a lot, and it will continue to end up happening even over the development of this as we continue to go. Right? So there's still more fields probably we're going to add to our existing classes. So that's where we're at